happy Tuesday, Thursday, whatever day you're watching this. I want to let you know that the Accelerator Business Summit is coming very soon. Many of you think, oh, it's just May. But let me tell you, August 31st will be around the corner. And this event is going to sell out way months before August 31st. So make sure you get your tickets. So who am I? I'm always talking about the Accelerator Business Summit. Well, my name is Martha Razo, and something I'm very passionate about is business. And I want every business owner to be successful, whether you're small, an entrepreneur, solo entrepreneur. I mean, I don't care what kind of business you're doing. I want you to be successful. And this is why I started this summit. I want to fill in those gaps for you to level up and propel your business to where you want it to be. So here amongst me, I have one of the speakers who's going to talk about one of the things that I am personally working on, sales. And I also have Tilsa, who joins me in every podcast. Thank you so much. To introduce yourself, and then we can know everything about James.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Martha. I'm Tilsa, owner and founder of Divine Wedding Bells and Divine Yoni Goddess. So I am an efficient by trade and also a spiritual coach. So I look so forward into having my own little spiel within the seminar. But before we get into that, enough about me. We got to get into James. James, I'm so excited to hear all about you. I want to know a little bit about where you grew up, a little bit about your childhood, where you went to school, and then we'll segue into your business and what are going to be a few of those talk tracks that you're going to have during your speaking engagement.
Okay, well, thank you very much for having me, Martha and Tilsa. So I grew up in the Bay Area. Originally, I'm in LA now, in Redondo Beach, but I grew up in Walnut Creek, California. Went to high school there and played a lot of sports as I was growing up. And that's something that actually, if I fast forward into, what inspired me ultimately to start my own business, that actually ended up being kind of an integral part of, wanting to be able to be a team player and help a lot of people out, beyond just corporate America. And so I had a transition at, a certain point in my career a couple of years ago when I decided to start my own company. And that my company is Sales Catapult, and I am a fractional VP of sales, and I'm part of a larger network of fractional VPs of sales. There are about 200 of us across the country, and it's called Sales Acceleration. And so, all of us have over 20 years minimum experience. And, it's my 30 plus years of experience building and leading teams that has enabled me to successfully build, a consulting business. And throughout my experience, I worked for larger companies that were already had just gone public, and we're doing like 100 million in ARR and helped to take them to 2 billion in annual revenue. And then I also worked with on down to startups and helped them to get their next rounds of funding and expanding into new states and everything in between. And so what I do is I work with small to mid-sized businesses in the 1 to 50 million range, typically 10 to 200 employees. And those businesses benefit by scaling their sales and profits by working with me. And my process initially is to come in and do an assessment, and then create a mutually agreed upon basically statement of engagement that with the founder or founders, so that it's something that both sides own, and then we put together a timeline, and then and then figure out how we're going to get that all done. Then, if necessary, and depending on the personnel that are in place, we've got to evaluate that, possibly do hiring or moving people around, then creating what we call a sales playbook, and then having it onboarding, and then going to the point of actually running the team.
Wow, that's amazing. When you're scaling your business, for those of you, I know we're going to have a lot of local people, Chicago, but James is coming from out of town. So he's joining all of these amazing speakers. And if you're looking into scaling your business to other states, this is your guy that you want to speak to, and you will have him available. Are you going to be there the 2 days or just one? Just curious.
No, both days.
both days, you see. So you could always, one thing about these events is that you can network with the speakers. It's one of those things. I'm pretty sure that James will probably have like a bunch of business cards. This is a perfect opportunity for you to like get them a little bit for a 5-10 minute talk and understand like what are those impacts, obviously, when you start scaling. But it's very important that not only do you scale, but you scale with the right protocols. You want to make sure that you have someone on your team, right, that understands scaling, understands numbers, understands sales. If you don't have someone like yourself that's a professional in that arena, it's very hard to scale. So thank you so much, James. Martha, do you have any follow-up questions?
I am very intrigued, and I've always wanted to ask this. I announced it, but how do you take, don't tell me the whole formula, but give me one little tip. How do you take I don't know how much millions it was, but from millions to 2 billion? Don't tell me the whole formula, but tell me one thing that someone can do at least to increase their zeros. I don't think from millions to 2 billion, but not many people out there in this world can say that they took the lead in building a company from the millions to 2 billion. Very, very few people have the privilege of saying. That's why James Watson is here. But just give us one advice of where we can start.
You got to start with assessing where you are and then actually having a go-to-market plan. And a lot of times that isn't in place, or people are kind of winging it. And so it's really critical early on, even though the CEO, the founder typically has to prove themselves as they're getting their funding as a proof of concept. But I think there's oftentimes a lag in getting the sales infrastructure and process in place, because that's a foundation upon which repeatable and predictable processes are built ultimately.
So creating a sales infrastructure, is that what
Correct.
basically it is?
That's correct. And that involves processes, a lot of assessments, and in fact, that's something that I actually will be incorporating into the event, which is to give people the opportunity to do a 10-question sales agility assessment, which is a common of what we do. In order for them to get some immediate feedback, and then providing a 10-20 minute overview and giving feedback on the results of that assessment.
Wow. So you're going to get direct feedback on how you're performing in your sales, in your business, and then you're going to get immediate steps that you can take when you go back home and you go back to your business. You will have a plan to action. Isn't that amazing? Tell me how many events you attend to and you leave with a plan. Any other questions, Tisa? I'm excited. This is one that I'm
excited. I'm excited to kind of steal James for like 10-20 minutes, like, hey, let's do my assessment first. joke. We want to make sure that our audience has enough, all the opportunity. But this is why it's so important to get your tickets. You're going to be networking with the best in the industry. And James is not from Chicago. He's coming from out of town to make sure that, he's one of the amazing contributors. And man, if you want to scale your business, why not? You're going to have an industry expert, and that's very, very important. So thank you so much, James.
And also just one thing to add on, at a high level, kind of some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. The general theme of my talk is going to be about business development in the current economy, and then the top challenges that are being faced, because things are more difficult now, and a lot of people say you got to work twice as hard to make the same amount of money now and have the same amount of success. And so there's a lot of parts of that process that I'll be going through, including some elements of the sales playbook, some best practice takeaways, and then of course the sales agility assessment. If people want to take that, they can. That'll be on the card. My business cards are on flyers. And then anyone that does it, I'll automatically get a copy of it. Then I'll know that they, likely will want to have a review of that and get some feedback. And then I'm also going to kind of finish it off with an open-ended Q&A for anyone that has any questions in the audience.
Yeah,
sure thing.
Get your tickets at Eventbrite. We are also going to put them in this comments, and also in the comments and up here in the message. August 31st, September 1st. Do not just save the date. A lot of people tell you save the date. No, get your tickets now and do not miss, because this is one unique event. I call it one of a kind event. We're working very hard, me, Dilsa, and all the 30 speakers, to make this the best business event that you can attend to from any experience you've had in the past. So get your tickets on Eventbrite, Xcelerator Business Summit. I hope to see you there. Let's network and let's make things happen.